welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to the CFN podcast, Chubby Dogs Football Nation. Today we're going to be talking about the Atlanta Falcons. They are leading the NFC South with a 5-3 record right now. I feel like during last offseason, the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl chance got really boosted because of one signing. And that was the Kirk Cousins signing. I think a lot of people thought about how, Kirk Cousins is one of the best quarterbacks ever. He did so good in Minnesota. The Falcons are going all the way to a Super Bowl. The Vikings had a good defense in Minnesota. When you look at Kirk Cousins, he had one of the best offenses in the league. Another thing that I'd like to mention is that Sam Darnold and Joshua Dobbs both did really good while they were in Minnesota. I don't think that the Falcons would have gotten so hyped up if they signed Sam Darnold, if they signed Joshua Dobbs. Yet they both did good, if not better, than Kirk Cousins, or are doing. If we look at Kirk Cousins' numbers right now, he has 14 total touchdowns to 8 total turnovers. So that's a little more than one touchdown a turnover. He's got 2,100 yards with another 6 yards. He has 8 yards on the ground, and yeah, I don't know how I really feel about Kirk Cousins. He's a good quarterback, obviously. It's hard to tell so much about him right now. But if you look at the Falcons' defense, now that's where it's kind of different. They have 187 points allowed, which is, I think, like 25 points a game allowed, so not the best. They have 7 interceptions, which is really good. I feel like that's a little less than one turnover a game. But if you look at their fumble recoveries, then that's another 3, which then you're getting over that 1 a game. And so that's really good. They have 6 sacks, which it's all right. That's less than a sack a game. It's nothing to brag about. It's not very good. 2 touchdowns though. That's something really good, because it's like you have to be able to get those touchdowns on defense if you really want to be a truly dominant team. Because then you're just giving your offense a little bit more of a break so they can come out fired up again. One other thing that I want to look at is basically, it's like the Falcons offense. They've got Bijan Robinson. So far this season, he's had 550 rushing yards on 116 attempts and 4 touchdowns. Not great numbers. If you're not getting into that end zone, there's no point in getting yards. If you have to come away with a field goal every single drive, okay? The average NFL team gets, I believe, 11 drives a game, okay? Now, not saying that every single time you're going to get to that 40-yard line and stall out. But if you get to that 40-yard line every single time and you stall out, let's just say you get a field goal every single time. That's 33 points a game, okay? Now, here's the thing, though. You're giving the other team 2 drives. Over 2 drives, it takes for you to get the same amount of points. It would take 7 drives to compare to 3 total touchdowns. That's not good. You've got to end the drive with a touchdown. If you aren't ending with a touchdown, that means nothing. Also, something I think about personally is the Falcons do not have as good of an offense as Sam Darnold. Definitely not as good. When you are looking at the actual Falcons team, it's a very good team. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. Most likely they'll beat the Bucs to the winner of the NFC South. I feel like the Saints and the Panthers are both out of it. Obviously, the Panthers aren't making the playoffs. But, this video is about the Falcons being a contender or a pretender. I know that's what you want to see. And here's the thing that I think about. A contender is someone who's going to win the Super Bowl. Who should win the Super Bowl. Who has a high chance of winning the Super Bowl. Okay? A pretender is someone who's going to be trash in the playoffs like the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I think the Falcons will win probably at least one matchup. But for people to say that they're going to go win the Super Bowl, they're being pretenders at that. The Falcons are a good team. They've got a good quarterback, but they're not good enough to win the Super Bowl. You've got other teams like the 49ers who will have CMC next week. You've got teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, the Washington Commanders, both really good teams. You've got the Houston Texans, who could, all of these teams could beat the Atlanta Falcons. You've got the Minneapolis Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions. I mean, I feel like if it was at home, the Broncos could also beat the Falcons. And probably the Steelers too. Probably the Chiefs. And so it's just the fact that there are so many teams that could take the Super Bowl away from the Falcons, that could take the Falcons out of the playoffs. I think that they'll probably get to the divisional round. Are they contenders? Absolutely not. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. I think as an Eagles fan, me saying that the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl, I hope they do. But they're probably not going to. I mean, that's like saying with all the good teams, it's a journey alone to go to the Super Bowl, to get through the playoffs, to go to the Super Bowl. Now it's another journey to win the Super Bowl. That is 3 hours, well, an hour of football, but really we know that it's more like 3.5. That's 3.5 hours of football, okay? Or an hour if you're being real about what the clock is. But we'll just say it's an hour of football. That hour of football is going to be the hardest moment of that person's life, especially in the Super Bowl when you're facing the best team from the AFC or the NFC. So the Falcons, I feel like they have no chance of winning the Super Bowl. They would have to do something miraculous to even get there. But yeah, Falcons I view as pretenders. So yeah, the Falcons for me are a pretender. Thank you for watching and this is based off of stats that I look at, and this is also based off of my opinion. I encourage you to leave yours in the comment section. But yeah, this is the CFN podcast, Chubby Dogs Football Nation. This is Chubby Dogs signing out.